With only 3 weeks to go in this year's Super Rugby, there might be a couple of upsets this weekend. Stay tuned to see my predictions. Welcome back to Skinnybru Rugby, guys. First things first, thanks to everyone that has subscribed to the channel. I am closing in on 100 subscribers. Thanks for everyone that has supported me and given me some advice. I appreciate you guys. If there's anyone that still wants to consider to subscribe, please do so down below. I would really appreciate it if I could get to 100 subs. So, round 16 of Super Rugby is going to be an epic one. The stakes are so high for most of the teams. Superbru may be a nightmare for everyone playing this weekend. If you want to join the Superbru though, it is down in the description below. First game, the Blues versus the Bulls. The Blues are at the bottom of the New Zealand conference, but they could pass the Highlanders and the Chiefs this weekend, because the Highlanders are on a bye and the Chiefs are playing the Crusaders. So the Blues have the stake of passing those two teams in the New Zealand conference. The Bulls, they lost some ground to the Jaguares now in the South African conference. They are 4 points behind, so they would really want to win, because if they lose this one, the Jaguares could win their game and they will be 8 points behind them, and they will want to get back to winning ways after their loss last week. The seasons for the two teams: 5 out of 13 for the Blues, 7 out of 13 for the Bulls. The Blues have won only one of their last 6 games, but the Bulls, their last 9 weeks has been loss win, loss win, loss win, and go and so on. The Blues have lost to the Bulls in Auckland in 2013, but there has been no other time when they have. But the Bulls this week are missing big guys like Pollard and Vermeulen. Blue side, they selected their strongest side to play this game. I am looking forward to RG Snyman versus Big Red Robinson from the Blues. This is a very difficult one to call, guys, but I'm going to favor the Blues by 5. Then we have the all Aussie clash. The Rebels, their season 7 from 13. The Waratahs 5 from 13. The Rebels must be on a massive high after absolutely thrashing the Sunwolves last week. They are 1 point behind the Brumbies in the Australian conference, but the Brumbies are playing the Sunwolves this week, so they will try and do the same to the Sunwolves that the Rebels did last week. So for me, the Rebels need to get a win here, otherwise they might lose some ground on the Brumbies. The Waratahs, they have had no big wins or losses this season. All of them within 15 points, I think, or 12 points actually. Last week, Hooper said that most games this season they have been down at the 70th minute, and he's getting tired of it. So the Waratahs haven't had great performances this year, but they have snuck in some victories, and they don't get thrashed at all. Waratahs, they are 7 points behind the Rebels, so their season is probably over. It can still happen for them. I highly doubt it, but if they can make up some ground on the Rebels, they could get second spot maybe at the end of the season if they continue winning. The Reds, they are just below the Waratahs. They can take over the 3rd spot in the Australian conference if they win, because they're just 2 points behind the Waratahs. The Waratahs have had some massive losses this season to players. Now another one, Carmichael Hunt, is injured. I hear it's a long injury. The Rebels have a dangerous backline though. Starting up front, Genia and Cooper. Then number 12 this week is Matt Tamua. I've been excited for that one to happen this whole season while waiting for Tamua to come from the Tigers. Then Hodge at the outside centre, fullback Haylett Petty, and then Kiribeti and Maddox on the wings, who were very dangerous last week, both scoring 2 tries as far as I have it. So for me, the Rebels have more reason to win this game actually, so I think the Rebels will win by 7. Then it's the Sunwolves versus the Brumbies. The Sunwolves, they can only play for pride at this point in the season. I really hope guys like Parker and Maserewa and Van der Heever start playing better again. They haven't been in the best of form this last couple of weeks, but they did set the world alight in the start of the season. The Brumbies, they are the leader of the Australian Conference. They have only lost one game in their last 6 matches. They really punished the Bulls last week on the fringes, attacking the wingers who aren't at the best. Kuridrani last week was on fire, scoring 3 tries against the Bulls. Lealifano, his game wasn't the best last week. He did miss 3 or 4 kicks at goal, but I can expect more of the same from the Brumbies against the Sunwolves. Their defense can be woeful sometimes. So the Brumbies by 17. Then it's the New Zealand derby between the Chiefs and the Crusaders. The Chiefs, that are currently in 4th, will be determined to pass the Highlanders, who are currently in 3rd place and on a bye this week. The Crusaders could ensure their spot at the top of the Super Rugby rankings this season. If they win this game, no other team would be able to catch them after this one. They are playing in Suva though, in Fiji. Usually there's good crowds that come out and the guys really get behind their team. But saying that means no team actually has a home game this week. Both of the teams are actually on the road. So I would prefer to go with the home team usually, but this week it is difficult. Guys that have been standing out for the Chiefs, Weber and Marty McKenzie. This week they have rested Marty McKenzie or put him on the bench, and Debrosini is starting. Sam Kane, he has been in good form. Last week was his first game he has started this season. The week before that he just got a couple of minutes of game time after coming back from his neck injury. The season record for the two teams, 5 out of 14 for the Chiefs and 10 out of 14 for the Crusaders. The Crusaders could have rested some of their big players for this game. I actually thought they would have, but they picked their strongest side to face the Chiefs, so I think they want to seal the top spot in the Super Rugby this season. The Chiefs could pull a rabbit from the hat and get a win over here, but I think the safer pick is the Crusaders by 8. The next game is the Reds versus the Jaguares. The Reds have had some tough losses in this season. In the last 3 weeks they haven't lost by more than 8 points in any of the games. The Jaguares really opened up a dark horse spot for themselves as Super Rugby contenders. They are especially good in Australia when they are touring. Last week they proved that. The Reds fought hard last week against the Chiefs on attack, but the Chiefs' defense was just too good. The Jaguares' defense can be a little bit poorer than the Chiefs' defense. If I have to be honest, they aren't that good at defending, so the Reds might be able to punish the Jaguares over there. The season records for the two teams, 5 out of 13 for the Reds, 8 out of 13 for the Jaguares. The Jaguares have kept their team fresh though. They do sub out every week. Basically every week half of the team is on the bench that started the previous week. They did that again, so they have a fresh team playing. Guys like Moyano, Kubeli, De La Fuente, Creevy, they have been standing out this season. De La Fuente and Kubeli find themselves on the bench this week, but they have been so good, all of these players. As I predicted in Who Will Win the South African Conference video, which I will link up here, the Jaguares will win by 12. Then it's the first game for the Hurricanes on the road versus the Sharks in Durban. The Sharks are currently in 2nd place in the South African Conference, 3 points behind the Jaguares. They can find themselves at the 2nd to last spot in the South African Conference if the results don't go in their favour. The Sharks have had a mixed season, 6 wins, 1 draw and 6 losses, where the Hurricanes 9 wins, 1 draw and 3 losses. The home record for the Sharks isn't that good, 3 out of 7. The last week they played against the Lions and they did put on a good show. Bosch ran things over there. He had an intercept try though. They did defend a lot. The Lions had 60% of the possession in that game, and to give 60% possession to the Hurricanes will obviously not work for the Sharks this week. They will need to hang on to the ball better. But talking about Bosch, his defense has never been that good, and this week he's going to have to tackle at his best because they are playing a very dangerous backline of the Hurricanes, who has picked their best side. Bowden Barrett is back for the Hurricanes. He was rested the week before last, and then last week they were on a bye. And they will want to get back to winning ways, the Hurricanes, after losing to the Jaguares a couple of weeks ago. The last time the Hurricanes have won in Durban is back in 2005. But history, you can't hang on to that when you're playing. For me, I think the Hurricanes will win this one by 3. Then the biggest game of the weekend for me, the Lions versus the Stormers. The team that wins this game can go into second place if the Sharks and the Bulls lose their previous games, or in third place if only one of them lose. The team that loses though will be left behind at the bottom of the conference and will have a difficult task further on this season. This game has all the potential to end in a draw. It's going to be a big one. It's not going to be very flashy rugby. I think it's going to be very close. A few penalties might separate the scores at the end. The Lions really struggled to penetrate the Sharks defense last week with 60% possession, but the scramble defense of the Stormers is even better than the Sharks' defense, so they might have a hard time if they didn't analyze the defensive structures of the Stormers properly. Elton Jantjies, he was outplayed by Bosch last week. He also gave away 2 intercept passes which went through for tries through Mapimpi and Bosch. But I think Jantjies will try to correct it this week if he plays. That's the problem. There is talks about him maybe missing the game because he has flu or he's sick. Kwagga Smith has also been very good for the Lions. He gets over the ball and gets turnovers for his side. He's also very quick and strong. The Stormers will stress about Kulisi and Pieter-Steph du Toit. At the moment the teams aren't announced yet, so I'm speculating that they will probably be rested. Etzebeth is back this week though, but what are the Stormers going to do on hooker? Bongi Mbonambi has been injured, and apparently Skara Ntubeni has been injured as well, so they will have to put some young guys up there. Visa and Sinatla last week, they were impressive. Visa at the lock, he was strong. He made a lot of tackles as well. Sinatla, he was just all over the park with the ball, and he broke through the line a couple of times. The Stormers backline has also been a lot better with Stander at fly half. He's been doing good this couple of weeks. Like I said, I think this game can be close. I think the Lions will win by 2 points. That's my predictions for the week, guys. Let me know down in the comments what you think the scores will be. Check in the description below if you want to join the pools or want to like the Facebook page. There's a lot of news on the Facebook page that I share, and I also share my videos on there when I post it. Cheers.